Hello and welcome to Nintendosense YouTube channel. Thanks for joining me today as we take a look at Metal Gear Solid as part of the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1 yet again. I love me some Metal Gear Solid. Last time on Metal Gear Solid we fought Sniper Wolf in a snowfield. Oh no, I didn't live stream that. What did we do last time? Did we fight the Hind D? Oh, we had the Ocelot interrogation scene, and then I fought the Hind D off-stream. So now we are going toward the battle with Vulkan Raven, the giant and Shaman man. We're going to head down this elevator shaft. I've been actually taking my time with this playthrough and listening to all the optional codec calls that I've never listened to before, or maybe I have listened to them, but I haven't listened to them in a while. There he is. So these soldiers are actually a little different. These are the genome soldiers. So not every soldier you're fighting is the genome soldiers in this game. These actually... oh, darn it. Get up, Snake! So for those of you that don't know, you can actually hold the B button while shooting, and Snake can run around, so he doesn't have to just stand in place and shoot. You can also throw a bunch of stun grenades at these guys, but that would probably blind you all. It'd be absolutely terrible to watch. So, we're gonna do it this way. The moss bullet. Hello, Chad Middleton. Welcome to the stream. Nice to see you there, buddy. I just saw you a second ago in that other guy's stream. Would have hung around there longer, but I wanted to get streaming myself. Should be a Claymore mine around here. Somewhere, where is it? Ah, right there. Is there a series of Claymore mines, or is that the only one? That was the only one. And that is not how you disarm it. Okay, so queso is delicious. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, I've been doing a lot of codec calls.
War brings out the cruelty of man. No matter how the soldier was brought up, they all turn into animals when they're thrust into the heat of combat.
If the rumors are true, the Nintendo Direct will be announced tomorrow morning for Tuesday. Chad Middleton says, thanks for stopping by the other stream. Yeah, I don't know that guy personally, but he seemed legit. He didn't seem like, you know, a lot of the toxic stuff that I try to stay away from on YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. He seemed like a legit guy. Seemed pretty cool. I'll have to check him out again sometime. I'm pretty weary after the drama that I experienced during my early years as a streamer. I proceed with caution. Now check this out. If you call Master Miller right now...
There are a lot of crows around here.
Those aren't crows. Those are northern ravens. The Inuit and other Native Americans worship northern ravens as creator deities. Some say that ravens have the power to predict death. The great poet Marlowe wrote about them in the 16th century. Thus, like the sad presaging raven that tolls the sick man's passport in her hollow beak.
Nice.
And in the shadow of the silent night doth shake contagion from her sable wings.
That's pretty gloomy, Master.
By the way,
What?
I've got something to tell you about Naomi Hunter.
What about her?
What about
Is this conversation secure?
Don't
Maybe.
worry, the monitor's off.
Okay.
What's up?
I was in the FBI too, you know.
I didn't know that. What's your point?
Dr. Hunter's story about her background, about her grandfather.
Another benefit
being an
to
assistant secretary to
rebooting my
Hoover in the
computer,
FBI.
Chad, is
Yeah?
And
they
then
fixed
going
the second
undercover to
microphone.
investigate the mafia
my
in
second
New York.
microphone was always
Yeah,
like
what about
way
it?
too loud, even when
It
I
was
turned
all a
down
big lie.
the gain all the way, and I
What did
had
you say?
no clue what to do about it. It was something
really bothering me.
baked into Windows no matter what I
Lied
did.
about it.
She lied.
She might be a spy.
Ridiculous.
Almost wasn't going to reboot it the other night, but I'm so glad I reinstalled Windows
The head of the FBI at that
and
time, Edgar Hoover, he was a well-known
reset up
racist.
everything
Didn't
and
Naomi say
optimize
that
the
her father
computer
was
'cause
Japanese?
Yeah.
the experience now is
Well,
so much
back then,
smoother.
There wasn't a single Asian investigator.
I'm getting no lag,
1950s,
no stream lag, no dropped frames.
hadn't even started yet.
I'm streaming at the maximum quality possible. We've got no rendering lag. We've only got 8 milliseconds of time.
You better check
Sorry,
it out.
0.8 milliseconds, so less than a millisecond to render every frame,
Too many
which is amazing.
things are happening.
I
Are
couldn't
you
ask for
saying that
more.
Naomi might be behind it?
I don't know.
Chad Middleton says Windows sounds like a hassle. Only if you're going as deep and technical as I do.
If I find out anything, I'll call.
And yeah, it really can be. Honestly, over the years, it always has been. One advantage that they have fixed in Windows over the years, and they have been optimizing Windows 11, is that I was able to reboot the computer, and Windows reinstalled most of the stuff automatically. So it only took me 3 hours to reinstall. I mean, that's not as good as my Chromebook, where I can be back up and running in like 10 minutes and then have everything set up again probably in like another 10 minutes, so that's like 20 minutes. So it's not as good as a Chromebook, but you know, it's a lot more complicated of an operating system than a Chromebook. And it did save some of my settings, so I didn't have to change everything again. So, you know, I mean, it could have been worse, considering how fast hard drives are now and the internet and stuff like that. It didn't take too long. Who was I gonna call? Natasha.
America and Russia are not the only countries with nuclear weapons. During the Cold War, the UK, France, and China publicly declared the existence of their own nuclear arsenals. Since we entered the 21st century, we have confirmed the existence of nuclear weapons programs in countries.
That's good.
across
Stream is good on
Africa,
my end.
the Middle
Nice.
East, South America, and Asia. Nukes
Yeah, my laptop's not getting ridiculously hot and the fans aren't blaring either.
for the 20th century's failure to
So,
flood the whole
what I assume was happening
and for the
is
IAEA
the software
tighten nuclear
for
control measures.
Intel's dynamic tuning technology, as well as the software that controls
Colonel, where's Naomi?
the frequency of the processor, like the internal MSI software, was just ramping up my CPU
By now, the
power
terrorists have finished their
and voltage too much constantly and causing like really bad heat, basically. And so by avoiding all of that stuff and reinstalling Windows and getting rid of bloat and errors from previous driver installs and stuff like that, it all smoothed out. And hopefully going on from here, all I have to do is just update drivers, not really focus on any of that stuff. I did learn a lot from the experience. I learned what kind of programs were really necessary, what kind of programs were bloat. And yeah, I'm really happy with the setup. I'm really happy with the work I put into it. It's honestly a pain in the butt. It's the part of streaming I don't like, and I also do like. I like feeding my brain knowledge, so I like knowing how that stuff works. But
If you take that,
I'd rather not spend the time doing it, and I'd rather just have stuff that just works. I would still like to know how everything works, but it would be less confusing if everything worked and the settings were front-facing and and it was easy to understand what everything did. And it's really not. And most people won't have to do that. Most people won't go that technical. Most people aren't going to try to stream in like lossless, full resolution quality with HLS streaming. Most people are just going to go with the default automatic settings. And that's fine. And most people aren't running off of like a crap laptop that's like only mid-range specs, trying to get the best settings out of it. Most people will buy a full-on like desktop rig to do that kind of thing. So I guess my case is kind of unique in that sense. And I'm just kind of a nerd. I like playing around with stuff. Do 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 do. See how I do in this battle.
I want to ask you about Naomi.
I'm looking into the details now, but it doesn't look good.
Weren't you ever suspicious about her, Snake?
Snake, keep your guard up.
I'm not a PC guy, but why not use Linux? To be honest with you, Windows gives you the best OBS Studio experience, and Linux has limited support for NVIDIA graphics cards because the graphics drivers are not entirely open source. So I actually really like Linux and Ubuntu, and I like the optimization that's offered there. My favorite platform is actually Chrome OS, but that doesn't work at all for OBS Studio because you don't have the kind of open interfaces that you have in Windows. So pretty much if you want the best experience with using OBS Studio and live streaming, your best option, you can use a Mac for it, they're pretty good too, but there's some limitations there because the Mac can't handle certain file formats. So your only option is to use Windows, to be honest with you.
Mei Ling, how's Naomi?
She's fine, I guess. What's up?
Oh.
What do you want, Snake? If you want to talk to Naomi, why don't you call her?
Oh, it's nothing. Forget about it.
I love this
Guy.
codec call that he says. And then if we call Naomi, it gets awkward too.
Good luck,
Snake, by now those terrorists have finished their launch preparations. Stop wasting time. Metal Gear's base is up ahead.
Snake, it's over 30 below outside. What's wrong?
Forget it. Thanks.
Snake, stop lolly... Snake.
Alright, no more lollygagging. Time to get out there and Nikita my way to the top. Better wear this body armor, it's pretty cold.
Welcome, Cossack.
Yeah, there's really cool
For you, right, my friends?
there's really cool hardware built right into NVIDIA graphics cards
Ravens aren't scattered.
that allows for really cool encoding.
Simply returning.
So if you didn't have an NVIDIA graphics card, you could use software encoding,
Sometimes they even attack wounded foxes.
but using the hardware encoding CUDA cores on the NVIDIA graphics card
Must have been a tight fit for a
is your best option to get good quality out of YouTube.
But that was no true battle. The Ravens and I were testing to see what kind of man you were. The judgment is decided. The Ravens say you are a true warrior.
Am I hallucinating?
Yes, you are hallucinating, Snake.
I can't move.
The Raven has put the mark of death upon you. Blood from the east flows within your veins. Ah, your ancestors too were raised on the barren plains of Mongolia.
If you kill his
Our cousins to each other.
ravens while you're on the way down the elevator,
Sisters, you and I.
he comments about it in this cutscene.
Family tree.
jest, but indeed ravens and snakes are not the best of friends. Nevertheless, you will make a worthy adversary. You live in Alaska too. You know of the World Eskimo Indian Olympics?
Yeah, I know it. Must be a real threat in the muck-duck eating contest.
Yes, you are right. But there is another event that I excel at. It is called the ear pull. It is an event where two opponents pull each other's ears while enduring the harsh cold. It tests spiritual as well as
I
physical
wonder what muck
strength.
tuck is. I should look that up
Wanna
later.
pull each other's ears?
The form is different, but the spirit is the same. Rejoice, Snake! Ours will be a glorious battle.
This isn't glorious, it's just plain killing. Violence isn't a sport.
Well, we'll see if there's iron in your words.
Da da. Da 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 da. Here, eat a Nikita burrito. Do 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 do. Feel the stinger. Oh man, he's really running for it. It's a good time to use some Claymore mines. Got him.
Just as the boss said, it is my existence which is no longer needed in this world. But my body will not remain in this place. My spirit and my flesh will become one with the ravens. In that way, I will return to Mother Earth who bore me. Snake! I will be watching you. Understand? Snake, take this security card. It will open that door.
Why?
You are a snake which was not created by nature. You and the boss. You are from another world. A world that I do not wish to know. Go and do battle with him. I will be watching from above. First, I'll give you a hint. The man who you saw die before your eyes.
Oh.
What is it?
No, that is not the DARPA chief.
It was Decoy Octopus, a member of Foxhound. He was a master of disguise. He copied his
He's talking about Liquid.
to the blood.
He's never met Big Boss.
So he drained the chief's blood and took it into himself.
Maybe he has, I don't know.
But he wasn't able to deceive
I know he's talking about
death.
The angel.
he's talking about Liquid when he says the boss. He's talking about his boss. The boss of the game. It's kind of funny that
Go to so much trouble.
the boss
One
in
person.
Metal Gear is called Big Boss.
That is the end of my hint. You must solve the rest of the riddle yourself.
And then the boss in Metal Gear Solid 3 is called the boss.
In the natural
It's so hyper literal.
there's no such thing as boundless slaughter. There's always an end to it. But you are different.
What are you trying to say?
The path you walk on has no end. Each step you take is paved with the corpses of your enemies. Their souls will haunt you forever. You shall
This is hands down the coolest PlayStation 1 game ever made.
be a snake.
Like, yeah, Final Fantasy 7 was pretty cool, but you know, those Resident Evil games, they're pretty sweet. But they don't hold a candle to this. Do 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 do.
Snake, it's me.
Master,
Liquid.
Naomi, turn your monitor off.
what about Naomi?
Colonel, is Naomi there?
No, she's away. She's taking a short nap. So what is this about Naomi?
Okay, maybe we'd better let the Colonel hear this too.
Yeah. Go on, Master.
Well, basically, Dr. Naomi Hunter is not Dr. Naomi Hunter.
Shocking
at all.
revelation.
What?
I thought her story of her background sounded kind of fishy, so I checked it out.
And?
There is an actual Dr. Naomi Hunter, or I should say, there was one. But she's not the woman we know. The real Naomi Hunter disappeared somewhere in the Middle East. Our Naomi must have somehow obtained her identification papers.
So then who is she really?
She must be some kind of spy.
A spy?
Yes. Maybe she's been sent to sabotage this operation.
Are you saying she's with the terrorists?
I don't want to believe it either, but she is working for Foxhound.
So you think she had a part in the uprising?
Or she could be working with some different group altogether.
Different group? It couldn't be.
Place her under arrest.
What?
She's betrayed us. She needs to be arrested and interrogated to find out who she's with.
If she's one of their spies, then we're in big trouble.
What do you mean?
Oh, nothing.
Have you let her in on some kind of vital secret or something?
He
Does
knows
this have
about
anything
Fox
to do with
Die.
the mysterious deaths of the DARPA chief and the Arms Tech president.
I have no idea.
Liar.
We cannot allow her to
Deception on all
participate any
sides.
further in this mission.
Wait a minute. Without her, we can't complete this mission.
I knew it. You're hiding something.
Give me some time. I'll try to get it out of her.
Hurry then.
Hurry.
We've got to figure out who she is. and what
Hurry,
she's
hurry,
doing here.
hurry.
I understand. Snake, give me some time.
I don't have any time left for you.
Oh, snaps. Liquid's planted the seeds of mistrust. And you talk to Otacon, he's the only one I trust
There's not much
anymore.
I can say. But Snake, I think you'd better leave that to Colonel Campbell. Don't you think you'd better just get to the control room?
You found body armor. It will... The IAEA was established in 1957 to oversee...
Your sea rations are frozen? Never eat frozen sea rats. It'll cause a temperature imbalance that...
Snake, if it's about Naomi, I'm looking...
Naomi wasn't acting strangely or anything?
No, I just can't believe that Naomi's an enemy spy. I refuse to accept that.
I don't want to believe it either, but
Don't say it, Snake.
Awkward. My sea rations are frozen? Oh man, I spent too much time talking in the cold. That's a lot of gun cameras. And finally, the big moment itself. The Metal Gear reveal. Gotta take a picture of that thing.
Snake, I'm sure that woman calling herself Naomi is some type of spy. And now I'm starting to think that Campbell might be hiding...
It's me.
What's wrong? Did you find a good place to hide?
Yeah, thanks to the stealth gear. It looks like they finished
Chad
getting
Middleton
Metal Gear
says, I
ready.
didn't know Force Unleashed 2 had a Wii
I
version.
heard them talking.
It does. I actually used to have it. I don't have it anymore, but
it's
I did.
Strange.
What is?
There's nobody here. No
I used to
cars,
have that game.
patrolling. It's too quiet.
Maybe because they're all ready. They said they even input the PAL codes.
What should I do?
All we can do is use the override system that President Baker told you about.
But I've only got one of the 3 keys, and besides that, like Ocelot said, there's some trick to using the keys.
Leave it to me.
You got some kind of plan?
Well, I'm in the computer room right now. I'm trying to access Baker's private files.
Baker's files? Don't you need a password?
Of course, but there are ways.
Are you a hacker?
Yep, that describes me pretty well.
Does it look like you can get in?
I don't know yet. I'll give it a try.
I'm counting on you.
Chad Middleton says, I hope that it gets announced too for Switch. Yeah, as far as I know, there's no plans to bring it over so far. But maybe that's why the first game got patched. Maybe they're working on a collection of both games. Aspyr has been pretty good despite all the crap that everybody gives them. They were pretty good about bringing those games over to Switch, so... And they seem to be pretty good about patching them, the bugs after launch. It's just kind of sad that they can't release them in a better state in the first place. Because I think that kind of put the nail in the coffin for a lot of people playing the Battlefront remasters.
Do you think you'll break in soon?
Granted, I bought them not just because of the online gameplay, but because of the single-player gameplay.
Snake, I did it!
You got past security?
Bingo!
Great. So what do you got?
I accessed the confidential Metal Gear file.
So what about the PAL override system that Baker talked about?
I haven't found it yet.
That's what I need to know.
But Snake, I found something else.
What?
The secret behind the new nuclear weapon. Just as I thought, the nuclear warhead is designed to be fired from the railgun like a projectile. It doesn't use fuel, so it isn't considered a missile. That way it can get around all sorts of international treaties.
Pretty sneaky.
Yes, but effective. And that's not even the scariest thing about this weapon.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
It's a stealth weapon.
You mean it won't show up on radar?
Yeah. The truth is, they've been working on a stealth missile since the late 70s.
Why weren't they able to develop one until now?
Because of the missile rocket propulsion system, it would be picked up by enemy satellites.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
But unlike a missile, the railgun doesn't burn any propellant, so it can't be detected by any current ballistic missile detection systems.
An invisible nuclear warhead.
Totally impossible to intercept. And on top of that, it's got a surface-piercing warhead designed to penetrate hardened underground bases.
Yeah, we learned that lesson in the Gulf War.
This thing could mean the end of the world.
It's the ultimate weapon. And from a political point of view, it avoids the problem of nuclear reduction and nuclear inspections. Colonel, is this true? Are you listening? I'm listening.
If word of this got out, it could delay the signing of the START 3 treaty and cause a huge international incident. Yeah, it would be nasty. The United States would be denounced by the UN. It could even bring the president down. Did you know this, Colonel?
I'm sorry.
You changed, Colonel.
I won't make any excuses.
Snake, listen to me. This new nuclear weapon, it's never actually been tested, only simulated. You mean they ran a computer model? Yeah, that's why they were conducting this exercise. They needed to get actual experimental data to back up the simulation. What were the results of the exercise? It looks like it went better than they hoped for, but I can't find the data anywhere on this network. You'd think the data as important as that would be carefully recorded. It was. President Baker gave me an optical disc with all of the test data.
What? Do you still have it?
No. Ocelot took it from me. The terrorists have replaced the dummy warhead with a real warhead. Once they input the detonation codes, they should be ready to launch. So you think they can do it? Well, the dummy warhead was designed to be identical to the real thing, so I think so. Did you find out how to override it yet? Not yet. It must be in a separate file. Right now I'm looking through all of Baker's personal files. We're counting on you. Snake! Did you find it? No. I haven't found out about the override system yet, but I found Baker's ulterior motive. He's just looking to get rich, isn't he? Well, that's part of it. Armstech is in much worse financial trouble than I thought. I know they lost their bid to make the next generation fighter jet. That plus the reduction in SDI spending. It looks like there was even some talk of a hostile takeover.
I still would really like to see that one
project, I guess.
Star Wars The Clone Wars game that I was telling you about that was bundled with Tetris on the Xbox.
Money, huh? Yeah, and Baker was a
Not like the best Star Wars game ever, but I still would like to see a modern port of that as well.
So anyway, what about the override? Just give me a little bit longer.
I also noticed Konami has that Rocket Knight collection coming out soon, so they tend to only work on like one collection at a time. Hopefully after they finish up with that, they've got some more Castlevania for us in the pipeline. Well, I shouldn't say they only work on one at a time. Technically, they work on more than one at a time, but... Really?
Okay, I've entered the PAL codes and disengaged the safety device.
They totally know Snake is listening in right here.
There's still no response from Washington. It looks like we'll have to show them that we mean business.
Should I set it for Cherniton, Russia?
No, there's been a change. The new target is Lopnor, China.
Why, boss?
I'm sure neither you nor Mr. Golukovich would really like to see a nuclear bomb dropped on your motherland, right?
Liquid. But why? There's nothing there.
Wrong. It's a nuclear test site.
A nuclear test site?
If we nuke a major population center, the game's over. But a nuclear explosion at a test site can still be concealed from the public. Meanwhile, Washington will be worried about the retaliatory strike.
Chad Middleton says
That'll probably mean top secret.
it's already out, I think. Oh, maybe for other platforms. They don't have a port of that Clone Wars game I was talking about on Switch. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been ported to anything.
A weapon to the Chinese. What do you think that will do to the US's reputation? Or the
Rogue Squadron on the GameCube would be a cool port. It would be. It would also be cool if they brought the N64 Rogue Squadron to Switch via the N64 Online.
Won't be very happy when we start selling their own system to the highest bidders. Yes.
I really want to see Conker's Bad Fur Day. I know it probably won't happen, but that was such a cool game to play at the end of the N64's lifetime.
Genome soldiers as well. I'm also including the Fox Die vaccine in our demands.
Fox Die.
It was also a shocking game because everybody thought of Nintendo as this really kid-friendly, family-friendly company. I mean, despite GoldenEye having lots of blood and whatnot.
He wore a mask.
Wolf wasn't infected either. Perhaps
And Killer Instinct and all that.
She always took.
Something to do with the adrenaline.
Conker's Bad Fur Day definitely flipped that concept on its head.
Or maybe it's just because
And opened up the door for more mature Nintendo games like Eternal Darkness,
They haven't worked out all the bugs yet.
Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes.
In any case, have you heard from your friend, Colonel Sergei Golukovich, at the Spetsnaz?
Speaking of Twin Snakes,
He still has doubts.
that
about
would
the
be
ability of
epic.
Metal Gear. He said we can talk after Metal Gear's test launch is successful.
He's a very prudent man.
There's nothing to worry about.
I like the original Metal Gear
Wants
Solid,
Metal
but
Gear,
Twin Snakes
and
is
a new
such a good
nuclear weapon
remake.
So bad he can taste it. If Russia wants to regain its position as a military superpower, they need to reinforce their nuclear arsenal. They need a nuclear weapon that can't be intercepted. Metal Gear will allow them to gain first strike capability over the rest of the world.
They said 007 would never happen, and it did. It was hard to get all the licensees to sign off on it,
He's no warrior.
let alone at a reasonable price.
He's the one who gave us the Hind and most of our other heavy firepower.
He's got over 1,000 soldiers under his command. If we join forces, we could put up quite a resistance here. Since Mantis died, the Genome Soldiers' brainwashing has started to wear off. I'm worried about the
I was never a big fan of Perfect Dark, but it would still be really nice to see it on the Switch.
What are you saying?
The new Perfect Dark game for the Xbox actually looks pretty decent.
Could still escape.
We've got the most powerful weapon ever made, and we're about to ally with Golukovich's forces.
Are you going to fight the whole world?
I wouldn't mind owning an Xbox Series X or
We can launch a
PlayStation
nuclear
5.
warhead at any target on this planet.
But with the way things are going, it looks like most of the games that I would want to play on them probably are going to be ported to the Switch too anyways, so...
Once we get the DNA
And that's just pure speculation. I don't have any inside info or know anything.
To Colonel Golukovich.
I have no interest in the revival of Mother Russia.
You're not thinking of reviving Big Boss's dream.
From today, call this place
Outer Heaven.
Big Boss's dream. But boss, you're not worried about the PAL being overridden. If the code is in it again, it'll be deactivated.
No need to worry.
They're just trying to get Snake all riled up and excited and confused
Does Snake know how
and
the old
distracted.
system works?
You interrogated him, don't you know?
Their plan is working.
On him.
Good. Then no one can stop Metal Gear now.
By
He
the
knows
way,
he's got the
What should we
keys.
do with that woman? Want me to kill her?
Let her live. She's Campbell's niece, and Snake cares for her. We'll keep her as our ace.
They're just playing, tugging at his heartstrings right here.
She's alive.
It's all a charade.
Snake, I found Baker's top secret files.
Great job.
How's it going there?
They've finished.
I wouldn't buy a PS5 right now.
Deactivate them.
I'll most likely release the Pro version with GTA 6.
Was talking about. It can also be used to input the
Yeah, I'm not going to buy either of them, but I am pretty impressed that Sony
when the warhead is
added
you
some significant features to the PS5. I'm pretty sure my laptop, despite not being the most powerful laptop ever, and being bloated, you know, with the Windows operating system and all that stuff, I'm pretty sure my laptop, even though I prefer console gaming, so I would much prefer to play on one of those consoles, I'm pretty sure my laptop is either more powerful or just as powerful as a PlayStation 5
Shape memory alloy.
or Series X.
It's a material that changes shape at different
I think I might have a little bit less VRAM.
This card key? Yeah. The card key changes shape at different
But with 32 gigs of RAM, 4 gigs of VRAM,
3 keys in one. Clever.
12th gen i5, and an RTX 3050, which isn't even the most powerful graphics card. You still got more graphical power than the next gen consoles. And the benefits of SSD speed that the PlayStation 5 had at launch have already been outpaced by stuff like the Samsung 980 Pro I got inside my laptop.
The left one's for the room temperature key. See the symbol? Next to that goes the low temperature key. The one on the right is the high temperature key.
Okay, I got it. First, I change the shape of the card, and then I input them in order.
I mean, I won't be able to play everything at 4K max settings when Delta comes out, but I should be able to play Delta at least at 1080p, 30 frames per second. And I'm pretty sure...
But here's the thing.
Or 60 frames per second, I don't know. And I'm pretty sure Delta is not going to run at full 4K on Series X or PlayStation 5 anyways. It's probably going to run at some arbitrary resolution.
The key fell in the drainage ditch.
Snake.
Delta's kind of the game I most want to play. I also wouldn't mind playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I have a strong feeling that that's going to come to Switch for sure. Switch 2 at least.
Snake,
Delta I'm not so sure about, but being that the Master Collection seems like it was made first and foremost for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, I think it's safe to say that Japanese companies like Square and Konami realize how popular the Switch is in Japan with the portability, and how successful it was for them as far as the number of copies sold. I believe the third-party games sell particularly well on Switch, where PlayStation 5 and Series X are struggling to sell traditional games, and most people are buying them for stuff like the free-to-play service games. Although I heard the Resident Evil series has done particularly well for itself on next-gen platforms. Do 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 do. Got no rations. Return to your positions.
lost the key? Hurry up and find it. They've already entered the detonation code. The only way to stop that launch is to lock the system by re-inputting the detonation codes.
He's been listening into all his codec conversations.
The terrorists are finished inputting the detonation.
There is a big difference between conventional weapons and weapons of mass destruction. Conventional weapons are intended for use against military targets, but nuclear weapons are used against non-combatants. Nukes are designed to kill tens of thousands of innocent civilians in a flash. That is why nuclear weapons are so evil.
Hey, welcome to the stream, Eddie. Nin says, if Final Fantasy Remake came to Xbox, I would get it for sure. There's a bigger chance that it would come to the Nintendo Switch 2 than Xbox. Because some of these Japanese companies tend to favor to the Japanese market, first of all. And then they favor to the American market in the area that's going to make them the most profit. So in the case of the Nintendo Switch, even though the Nintendo Switch is extremely underpowered, if they're betting on its sequel to be as successful as the first system, that's where the install base is. It has a bigger install base of active players that are buying up a lot of games. So it would be a smart move. And from what I understand, from what I've heard from the Japanese companies, they do seem eager to support more powerful Nintendo hardware. There's been a lot of talk from Square Enix actually recently about potentially bringing over games that would not run on the Switch to Nintendo hardware, and they don't specify what they're talking about.
Snake, they've input.
How you doing, Eddie? I know this isn't Skyrim, but I'm happy you're joining us all the same.
The codes. Find that key. It fell somewhere in
Now, when it comes to American companies or European companies, I have no idea what their plans are as far as supporting the second Switch. I'd imagine Xbox is going to continue to do as they have with the first Switch and support it with select titles that they think are a good fit, like possibly the next Doom game. Pretty sure Capcom's going to bring most of their Resident Evil series to Switch 2 as well. So you should see stuff like some new Final Fantasy, some new Resident Evils, and maybe even some new content that we haven't even heard about yet. And again, this is all speculation and based on real information I've heard as far as like them actually talking. Like you can look that up publicly, that one of the directors of Final Fantasy XIV, which is an MMO, talked about how he wished it was on Nintendo platforms. There's been talk in the past about wanting to bring stuff like Final Fantasy Remake to Nintendo platforms, but it can't run on the current Switch. That's why they brought Crisis Core to Nintendo Switch. So I think we'll see that.
Find that key.
Alright, I have to go run to use the restroom. I'll be right back. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the chat. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up for more content like this. And I'll be right back.
War, he sung, is toil and trouble, honor but an empty bubble. What about you, Snake? Is your honor just an empty bubble too?
Based on the data I've been reading on the FAMI boards, it seems like the Switch 2 will probably target 1080p 60 frames per second for most games, or 1080p 30 depending on the game, in handheld mode, and you'll probably see 1440p as the target for docked mode. So it's not really a 4K console, but to be fair, most games on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 don't really hit native 4K either. So it should be interesting. It's not going to be a powerhouse, but just having a modern, custom-designed chip from NVIDIA, especially after NVIDIA already acquired, you know, they've acquired ARM, so now ARM is in-house versus before where ARM wasn't in-house. I think we're going to see some really interesting things come out of that. And again, that's just speculation, but it is based on some of the data that has come out on Fami boards. I don't want to be one of those Nintendo Switch streamers that, or not streamers, but Nintendo, whatever, those leaker people that like constantly speculate stuff every week, acting as if it's like actual news. That's like clickbait. I'm not trying to do that here, but it's fun to talk about it while I live stream a little bit. It's hard to sort out the truth from the lies. That's what Nintendosense is here for you. To sort out the truth from the lies. Who's lying to me? Is it Naomi? Is it Liquid? Is it Miller? Is it everybody? I'm getting tired. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. I do have work tomorrow. And I gotta kind of wake up early to get my daughter ready for school. My wife won't be around to help me. She's on vacation. So it's just gonna be me.
Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it. That is why the world must never forget Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
You lost the key?
Alright, so sometimes the key's around this area, and sometimes it's over by the camera. Oh, that's a bomb.
Snake, did you find the key?
No, it's not here.
Don't be ridiculous. You saw it fall into the drainage ditch, didn't you? The drainage ditch. Isn't there something odd about it?
No. There are a lot of big rats, though.
That's it, Snake. A rat must have eaten it.
Now who's being ridiculous?
No, I'm right. There's no other possibility. Rats eat all sorts of things. There's nothing unusual about that.
Oh, I waited too long and a rat ate it. Ridiculous. Oh, come on, Snake, get up there. Can't I use the mine detector or something to find it? There it is. Well, he's running back the other way. Ah, a rat really did eat it. Hilarious. That's Switch Force. Chad Middleton says, no summer break? Nah, I'm working summer school, man. Gotta make that money. Those bills don't pay themselves. It's honestly been a pain in the butt. The person I'm working with is just not very fun to work with. I think they're gonna change me up tomorrow. I usually get along with people pretty well, but man, this person's just been really rubbing me the wrong way. Too much micromanagement and OCD stuff, and giving me conflicting directions, not being very competent or good at their job. They're clearly intimidated by my level of intelligence, and I'm not that intelligent. Like, I don't like that. I can't jive with that. I'm not in competition with people. We're there to work together to achieve a goal. I'm not there to compete with somebody. I don't like those kind of semantics. I don't play those games. I play these games. Huh? Metal Gear. Is that the trouble kids like in Breakfast Club? Nah, it's just kids that failed a class during the year, or they're trying to get ahead for credits. One or the other.
Awaiting PAL code number 2.
Okay, that takes care of PAL code number 1.
Some of them have difficulties, different learning difficulties.
Freeze the key.
All right, let's go freeze the key. That key on ice, Snake.
Where'd he go?
That was a rookie mistake. Yeah, me too. I was trying to just hang in there and just deal with it. You know, I mean, work is work. You have to do things you're uncomfortable with sometimes. But man, was it so awkward. You gotta know the secret code when you knock on the door. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Have you seen the story of the guy beating up a teacher for taking his Switch? No, I didn't see that. He's in prison now. I'm actually surprised, honestly. They kind of don't really take they don't really take a lot of compulsory action against students nowadays. They do something called restorative justice. You're also really not supposed to force kids to participate. You're supposed to encourage them to.
Next, you've got to cool the card key.
Where should I do that?
This is Alaska. Go outside. It's cold everywhere. But you're close to the warehouse where you fought Raven, right? That place is right in the middle of the permafrost layer, and there's no heater either. That key is actually an IC card. Its connector pins and main body are made of a shape memory alloy. It's designed so that unless it's been changed to the correct shape, it won't be recognized by the PAL code input terminal in the control room, and the detonation code won't be entered.
Nuclear weapons are destructive enough to kill every living thing on Earth, and to render the planet uninhabitable for tens of thousands of years. In the history of mankind, there has never been a weapon created which was not later used. If we do not do something, we are just going to blow ourselves up. There's no doubt about it. As long as nuclear weapons exist, we have the sword of Damocles hanging over our heads.
Now freeze that key. Get somewhere cold.
You've got to lower that card key's temperature. Find someplace cold.
Snake, it looks like you changed the card key's shape correctly. Go and put it into the middle terminal in the control room before it warms up and changes back to...
The key changed shape. Hurry.
Good. The card...
Nice. The card key changed shape. So yeah, I'm doing a lot of codec calls to just hear all the optional codec calls. So why not? Oh, Jesus. That's not good. That's terrible. Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to that, and I'm not going to get into it on stream, but we could talk about that in Discord if you want, Chad. Yeah, just because you have a disability doesn't mean that they ignore crimes. The only ever experience that I've had with that kind of paranormal activity was really strange. I was like 15 years old, maybe 14 or 15. I think I was 15. I woke up in the middle of the night. I woke up at exactly 3 a.m. and maybe I was just having an extremely vivid dream. But there was a ethereal looking figure that was phasing in and out of reality walking towards me from my doorway, and I was extremely scared because I don't know what I was seeing, and I was like, I must be dreaming, but I was awake, man. I looked at my clock, it was 2:59 and it turned exactly to 3 a.m. and I look over at my doorway and there's this ethereal figure phasing in and out of reality. And it's kind of hard to describe, like, what I'm talking about when I say phasing in and out of reality. And, I mean, it looked like a ghost. Or like, I don't know. How did that see me? Don't I have stealth camo on? Really? Oh, anyways, so I rolled over because I was extremely scared because I had just seen something that I knew should not exist, and I just tried to go back to sleep. I don't know why. I just like laid there scared, wrapped up in my blankets, like freaked out, and eventually I did fall back asleep, but I woke up to being forced back over, like to this feeling of pressure on my shoulder, and I was being forced back over, and the ethereal figure, it was this woman in like a nightgown, was in my face, and it was very freaky. And then they disappeared, and then the pressure went away. And so I don't know if I was just dreaming, like having a half asleep, half awake dream. They say that your mind can do that. So maybe I was just hallucinating. I'm open to that possibility. But I was definitely awake. Like, for me to wake up again and for that to happen again and for it to be... Like, I've had some pretty darn vivid dreams before. And I even have an accounting of another dream where it really did feel like I was awake in my room. But this was different. I was definitely awake. Whether my brain was still half asleep and what I saw was sort of an awake dream, like a hallucination, that's probably the most logical explanation I have. I don't think I actually saw something paranormal, but I was fully awake. I don't think, I don't really believe in hauntings or ghosts or tormented spirits. I do believe in like paranormal stuff and extraterrestrial kind of like activity. but I don't think that's what I was experiencing. I think what I was experiencing was psychological. And the reason I say that is because I believe that the human spirit does exist, and it passes on and goes to another plane of existence, but it doesn't carry your ego. So my belief is that all of your memories and experiences in life are meaningful, but I don't think that they carry with your spirit when you die. So I don't think you carry those beliefs or meanings when you die, and I think that spirit energy goes back to the universe to join other spirit energy that then makes new life. And it's not a one-for-one thing either. It's not like one spirit equals one new life. I think it's sort of like a massive energy that just exists in the universe, of life energy, so to speak. And it's egoless, so it doesn't carry your memories or your wants or desires. But I do believe in the human spirit. And I would like to believe that I'm wrong in saying that, and that there's some kind of afterlife and I can go to heaven and there's a perfect place. And I do believe in God, but I'm kind of skeptical of that concept. And I kind of just believe that the energy just goes back to like a great spirit sort of thing. Like we become one with the great energy and spirit of the universe. That's what I believe. Sleep paralysis? Yeah, it was really weird. I couldn't move either. I was like forced down. Really bizarre. One of the most weird paranormal things to ever happen to me. And then another time, when I was a kid, me and my dad and his friend were all in his backyard. And there were these 5 triangles flying in formation that looked like they could have just been fighter jets or something like that in the sky. And then one of them jetted off into the other direction. Like, just like without turning, it just jetted off sideways. And it was the strangest thing. We were pretty sure we saw some kind of paranormal UFO activity or experimental aircraft. One of the reasons why I think what I saw was a hallucination, even though I believe I was awake both times and not asleep, was because me and my friends had just recently watched a movie called, I think it was like The Exorcist of Emily Rose or something like that. One of the themes in the movies is, and I have a really good internal clock, like I could tell myself back then to wake up at 5:30 and I would wake up at 5:30, or I could tell myself to wake up at 4 a.m. and I would wake up at exactly 4 a.m. without looking at a clock, just my internal clock. And we had watched that movie, and in that movie there's some detail about like 3 a.m. is like the time of the devil or something like that, and the time clicking over from 2:59 to 3 a.m. is like some sort of evil time frame or something like that. something to do with evil spirits.
Snake.
And so I think
Naomi
just
Hunter.
watching that
Then you
movie
should
like
talk to
got
the
in my
Colonel.
head.
He's looking into it.
Turn your monitor off.
So
Okay,
I
it's
woke up
off.
at exactly
No one else can hear
2:59
us.
and I
Go
looked at the
ahead.
clock and it turned to
Sorry,
3.
but I didn't
And they
want
say
to
that you
hurt
can't
the
see
heater.
some dream
so
experts
what's
say
up?
you can't see
I've
time
got a
or
good
read things
friend
in your
the
dreams,
Pentagon.
and some say
Yeah.
you can.
He's the one who
So
told me about it. It looks like the DA
I've actually
is
read
gonna
stuff in my
develop a new
dreams
type
and
of
seen time
assassination weapon.
and drove cars and
Assassination
done
weapon.
certain things that they say
Snake,
you're not supposed to be able to
have
do
you
in
ever heard of
dreams.
something
So
called fox dye?
No. Fox dye. Liquid and the others were talking about it.
Yeah. It's some kind of
yeah, that stuff is
virus
the scariest
targets
ever.
specific people.
And there's
I don't
people
know
that
all the
have it
details,
chronicled.
but
What are you
Or
trying
like
to
sleep
say?
paralysis.
it's too similar.
What is?
The cause of death. Didn't the Arms Tech president and the DARPA chief, Decoy Octopus, die of something that looked like a heart attack?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, fox dye kills its victims by simulating a heart attack.
No. You're telling me that Naomi was behind it?
Snake, try to remember. Did Naomi give you some kind of injection?
The nanomachines.
She was in the best position to have done it, but I don't know what her motive was.
Does the Colonel know?
I'm not sure. But he still hasn't questioned her.
Okay. I'll ask him myself. Colonel, what's new with the Naomi situation?
I just placed Naomi under arrest.
Arrest?
She was sending coded messages towards the Alaskan base. I didn't want to believe it, but she must be working with the terrorists.
Are you sure?
I'm afraid so. She's being interrogated now.
What kind of interrogation?
Well, I'd like to avoid the rough stuff, but we don't even have any sodium pentothal here.
Call me if you find out anything.
So it's true, isn't it?
Naomi. I can't believe it.
That means the fox dye vaccine must be around somewhere.
Listen, I've got bigger things to worry about.
But Snake, you might be infected too, you know.
All I can do is leave it up to the Colonel.
Oh snaps.
Naomi's an enemy spy? I can't believe it.
I don't want to believe it either, but...
Snake, leave it to Colonel Campbell. You've got to concentrate on re-inputting that...
So Naomi's a spy, just like I thought. Campbell is hiding something too. But that's okay. Fox dye is a virus, a biological weapon. There must be a vaccine. We can worry about getting that later, Snake. But right now, you've got to focus on re-inputting those detonation codes, okay?
I cannot believe it. Dr. Naomi working with the terrorists?
I don't want to believe it either.
But if what Campbell says is true...
I know. Nastasha, have you ever heard of fox dye?
Fox dye. No, sorry. I never heard of it.
Oh well, forget about it.
What's up, Snake?
She's all cheery. Her usual cheery self.
Snake.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Really? Oh, that means the Claymore mine is back too. Right? Right? Isn't it? No? No? I probably need to get some sleep. Should wrap it up here. Fun fact, this elevator's not actually moving, the textures are just scrolling around it, which make it look like it's moving. Please insert disc 1. You can actually go all the way back to the beginning of the game right here if you wanted to, using the cardboard boxes. Not sure why you would, but in case you missed something or you just want to go back there. That's just a bunch of rations. We've already got rations. Heat missiles. Don't really need those at this point. Ah, I got shot. Now I need the rations.
Somewhere warm?
Now you've got to warm it. You need...
Now you've got to warm the key up.
You have a good view, though your movement is limited. It might be a good place to take out your enemy with your PSG-1. You have a good view.
We are maxed out on items.
What's up, Snake? Snake, come what come may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. We're almost out of time, Snake. Please hurry. You're the only one who can stop them from launching that nuke.
Well, thanks again for watching Nintendosense YouTube channel. Shout out to Chad Middleton. Shout out to Eddie. Shout out to everybody else who stopped by, even those of you who did not say hi. Shout out to the people who watch this post live. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up for more content like this. I gotta get to bed. I hope you all have a good night's sleep. And I'll see you on the flip side. As always, stay solid like Snake. And stay safe. Peace.